Hello, good morning, boys and girls. We are on page 77 for homework, and today is a little different because you are converting a smaller unit to a larger unit. So, for an example, they have one here for you. They're asking you to convert days to weeks. We know that it takes 7 days, right, in 1 week. So in order to have that, you're going to write 1/7. You're multiplying times 1/7. And the reason being is because you are dividing the amount of days in order to get how many weeks there are. Okay, and that's going to give you 6 weeks. So 42 days is equal to 6 weeks, and that makes sense. Your unit should be smaller because you are converting to a larger unit that is more, right? So 42 days, I know that sounds like a lot of days, but it's only equal to 6 weeks. So we're going to try this one. 1 gallon is bigger than 1 quart. Just so you're aware, a gallon is this huge looking, you think of your gallon milk jugs or things like that, whereas a quart is much smaller. So that's why you're going to be dividing by 4, or in this case, you can say that you are dividing by 1/4. So I'm multiplying, it is a multiplication sign, but how you're going to do that is 36 times 1 is equal to 36, and 1 times 4 is equal to 4. So you're dividing 36 divided by 4. 36 divided by 4 is equal to 9 gallons, okay? And if you need to look at your multiplication chart, you can definitely do that to figure that out. So if I were to write this equation on the side, it would say 36 over 1 times 1/4. And I know that 36 times 1 is equal to 36, and 1 times 4 is equal to 4. And when we reduced it, we got 9. So for problem C, they're asking you to convert centimeters to meters. So if I have 1 centimeter, it's going to give me 1/100, right? 1 centimeter is the same as 100 meters, or 0.01 meters. So I'm multiplying 760 centimeters times 0.01 meters. So I know that 760 times 1 is going to give me 760. Okay? Now, you need to make sure that you're moving your decimal over twice. 1, 2, because in your problem, you are moving it over twice. So your final answer is 7.6 meters. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Problem D. We are converting meters to kilometers. So we have right here converting 2,485 meters, and we're converting to kilometers. A meter is much larger. Think of a meter stick, and a kilometer is very, very small. It's a very small unit. So it's equal to 0.001 kilometers, okay? Sorry, I said that wrong. A kilometer is much, much larger than a meter. So it would take meters many, many times in order to get a kilometer. So 0.001 is what you're multiplying times. So now I'm multiplying 2,485 times 1 kilometer, or times 1. And that's going to give you 2,485, right? And then you need to make sure that you are moving your decimal over. So I noticed that in my problem, I have 1, 2, 3. I'm moving my decimal over 3 times. And I'm going to do the same thing in my answer. I'm moving it over 3 times. So my final answer is 2.485 kilometers. Okay. For problem E, it asks you to convert grams to kilograms. So 1 gram is going to equal to 0.001 kilograms. So I'm going to multiply 3,090 grams in order to find out how many kilograms that is equal to. So I know that 3,090 times 1 is going to give me 3,090. So that's what I'm writing down, 3,090. Now, in my problem here, I need to make sure that I move my decimal. So I'm moving it over 1, 2, 3 times. And the same thing to my answer. So this changes to a decimal. So my final answer is 3.09 kilograms. Okay, you don't have to add the 0 at the end unless you want to. It's the same thing. Okay, now over here we are converting milliliters to liters. We have 1 milliliters. and we are converting it to liters. So I wrote this wrong. I need to make sure I put ml. ml is different than millimeters. Okay, so 1 millimeter is equal to 0.001 liters. So we have 205 milliliters, and we're trying to figure out how many milliliters is equal to a liter. So I'm multiplying it times 1 liter. So 205 times 0.001, right? I know that 1 times 205 is going to give me 205. But I need to make sure that I'm moving my decimal over 1, 2, 3 times. So I'm going 1, 2, 3. And this is interesting because my decimal actually is moved over here. So that means that I need to make sure I write 0.205 liters. Okay? Now, we're going to turn to the next page. We are on page 78. Make sure you're turning to the correct page. And now this one is asking you to make sure that you express each conversion. You don't need to write a statement. I want you to focus on the conversion. So we are going to solve, okay? So for the problem we have here, problem A, they give you an example. The screen measures 36 inches, convert 36 inches to feet. So we're going from inches to feet. We know that inches is smaller than feet. So that means that our number is going to be bigger than 36 inches because we're converting it to feet, right? It gets smaller or technically bigger. So we are multiplying 36 times 1/12 of a feet in order to figure out how many feet we would get. So 36 divided by 12, this bar right here, so important for you guys to know, is a division bar. Every time you see that bar, you're going to think 36 divided by 12. That's how you're going to read it, from the top down. 36 divided by 12. So 36 divided by 12 is equal to 3 feet. Now, we have problem B. A jug of juice holds 8 cups. Convert 8 cups to pints. So I know that a cup is smaller than a pint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I am measuring this correctly. So I'm changing 8 cups and I'm multiplying times 1/2, okay? And if you want to do that, you can also put a 1 underneath. So 8 times 1 is equal to 8, and 1 times 2 is equal to 2. 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4 pints. If you need to write it out to see it more clearly, you can. So 8 over 1. When a number 8 divided by 1 is still going to be 8, so it's the exact same number. I'm putting a 1 on the bottom so it makes sense to you, okay? And then we have 1 divided by 2. So first you multiply the top numbers and then you multiply the bottom numbers. 8 times 1 is equal to 8, and the bottom numbers 1 times 2 is equal to 2. And remember what I said, 8 divided by 2, this bar right here is division bar, 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4, and that's why you get 4 pints. Okay? Now we're going to move on to problem C. Problem C, it says here, the length of the flower garden is 529 centimeters. What is its length in meters? So 1 centimeter is equal to 0.01 meters. So I'm going to multiply 0.01 meters by 529. That's where I'm getting that number from. I'm changing centimeters to meters, so I'm multiplying these two numbers together. 529 times 1 is going to give you 529. Now, I need to make sure I put my decimal in the right place. So I noticed that my decimal, I moved it over twice, and that's the same thing I'm going to do to my answer. I get 5.29 meters. So I'm writing that down, 5.29 meters. Now, for problem D, it says here the capacity of a container is 2,060 milliliters. Convert this to liters. So I'm changing milliliters to liters. So I don't know why this is M. It should be ml. So 1 milliliter is equal to 0.001 liters, or you can say 1/1000th of a liter. Okay, so I'm going to multiply these numbers together. 2,060 milliliters times 1 is going to give me 2,060 milliliters. But now I'm going to make sure I move my decimal over 1, 2, 3 spaces. So I'm going 1, 2, 3 spaces. So my final answer is 2.06 liters. You do not need to add the 0 at the end unless you really want to. Now, problem E. A hippopotamus weighs 1,560,000 grams. Convert the hippopotamus weight to kilograms. 1 gram is equal to 1,000th of a kilogram. So I'm multiplying 1 million, oh, not 1 million, 1,000, oh yeah, it is 1 million, 1,560,000 grams times 1 kilogram. So I can write that number exactly the same because 1,560,000 times 1 is equal to 1,560,000. Whoa, I'm running out of space. So there's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Now I'm going to make sure that I am writing my decimal in the correct place. So my decimal right here is 1, 2, 3. It moves over 3 times. I'm going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now I don't have to write all of these zeros after decimal unless you want to because it's the same thing. So our final answer is 1,560 kilograms. For problem F, the distance was 372,060 meters. Convert the distance to kilometers. So we have 1 meter is equal to 1 kilometer, okay? Or 0.001 kilometers. I'm going to multiply these two numbers together, 372,060 meters times 0.001 kilometers. So I know that whenever I multiply times 1, I'm going to get the same number. So that's why you're getting the same number right here. And now I need to move my decimal over 1, 2, 3 times. So 1, 2, 3 times. And remember, you do not need to put the 0 at the end unless you really, really want to. But you do not need to because they are exactly the same. Okay? And that is all for the problems today. I know this is a little confusing because it is the opposite of what we did yesterday.